This is Visiblepreneur, the podcast for entrepreneurs and brands the entrepreneur, from local to worldwide, and how they became the better person they are today. And here's your host, the Isaiah Bentley. All right, everyone. Welcome to Visiblepreneur. As you know, back with another one. What's that? As always, if you said that right, great. You should know that tagline by now because I do that a lot. So today's episode is going to be the concierge for you. That's actually not the name of the business, but you'll talk more about that. She literally does concierge services. She's done a few other things. Her journey, how she got here is definitely pretty well. So you're going to love what we have to talk about today. However, before we get into this episode, let's give a quick thank you to our two sponsors. So our first guy, as you know, he removes your fun guy. He is Rich Johns with Pure Solutions Environmental Services. He's your certified mold remediator, certified mechanical hygienist, and certified indoor environmentalist. If you cannot remember the fun guy that removes your fungi, he's your solution to indoor pollution. And you can feel free to reach him at 636-791-3022. So remember, fun guy that removes your fungi. And then our second sponsor, Fusion Media Marketing, which ad is run by Scott Nyberg. If you need your website to be tested, if you need your website to be built, if you need it to get redesigned, if you need it to get a fresh new look, give Fusion Media Marketing, and I will put the link in the description for the website, as well as tag the logo on here above on the screen and in the description below. So with that being said, Melissa, welcome to Visiblepreneur.
Thank you, Isaiah. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So tell us more about how you got your business started, as well as what is the name of it.
Okay. Well, my name is Melissa Lewis. I am the CEO and founder of the Majestic Group. We are a lifestyle concierge where we specialize in handling our clients' tasks off of their to-do list.
Interesting. So tell us about more of the tasks that typically you handle in a day-to-day basis.
So from a day-to-day basis, I have an array of services that I provide, and all of my services that are on my service list that I provide to my clients are my superpowers that I've developed over the years as a physical therapist assistant, as a stay-at-home mom, and a CEO of my family.
Oh, yeah. No, that's interesting.
So some of those services they range from running errands, small organizing projects, small party and event support, downsizing, move assist, just to name a few.
Oh, so you're, I want to say, a one-stop shop to whether that's event or organizing to everything dealing with the host. Am I right?
Absolutely. And basically the Majestic Group was born out of the need of so many people that have so much stuff to do. Everybody's busy, right? And I actually have those superpowers where I can really get shit done.
Right.
I've specialized in that, and that's what I feel like I've mastered. And I think that I have the gift to be able to help people get stuff done so they can actually spend the time on things that they love and things that they enjoy.
Nice. And so kind of going with that, because, most people would think concierge, in my case, I thought concierge would be something that you would find in hotel services. Yes. Again, it goes to show you how much I know.
Yeah.
But also, do you do travel as well too? Help somebody pick a good destination spot. I don't want to confuse you with a travel agency, so to speak.
Okay. So I don't want you to confuse me with a travel agent, nor do I want you to confuse me with the person that sits at the desk at the hotel, but they do come in handy, don't they? Absolutely. They actually have a lot of resources at hand. So when you're traveling, whatever you need, they have it for you, and they can get those things taken care of for you. So I am somewhat like your personal assistant for your life. So that's why it's a lifestyle concierge. And I try to help you with things that are happening in your personal day-to-day life. Everybody has a to-do list, right? Do you have a to-do list?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
somewhat.
do. And most of the time, most of the time, that to-do list is a never-ending thing that people don't get a chance to check off because we're busy. We're balancing so many different things. We think we have to do all the things. And all you have to do is outsource your help. Like, we outsource our help to go get our cars fixed. We're not mechanics, and we trust the mechanic to fix our car, right?
Yeah.
We outsource a lot of things. And if you don't have the time, instead of being stressed and overwhelmed, why don't you hire someone like me that's a personal assistant in your life? I can be a personal assistant for your personal life and your business. You're a small business owner yourself. And sometimes you know how that feels to juggle all the things. You can find yourself in this soul-sucking vortex of trying to do all the things, right? You're
Right.
overwhelmed and you're stressed, and it doesn't allow you to be creative in your business. It doesn't allow you to generate money generating activities. You're not in your area of genius because you have this thing looming over your head that all the things that you have to get done, right? But you don't. Everything's not for you to do. Sometimes you have to fire yourself from some of the things that you call yourself doing in your life that never get done. And that's why you hire a person like myself that's a concierge.
Yeah, awesome. And to that point of firing yourself, there's actually a book called something like that. I don't remember. I've just actually seen it.
Yes.
And kind of like a mutual friend of ours says that, with your services, you basically push people out of the way so that way they can get on their way.
Absolutely. And
in a different way.
Right. And most of the time in life or even in business, we get in our way a lot because we think that, oh, I'm going to save money, so I'll do this, or I'll get to it later and I'll do this. And not just, for example, organizing. Organizing, not being organized can cost you money and time. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but it can cost you money and time. And the last thing you want it to do is to cost you money in your business, and you don't want it to cost you time in your life, because that's something that we can't get back. We can't get back any time.
Yeah, and that's well said. So, and then speaking of the time, what was it like? I guess it's not really time wise, but what was it like for you to build this business? Because I'm sure that, like anyone else, this wasn't an easy journey for you.
No, it was not. And actually, the journey was a long one. So I believe that God had been preparing me ever since I started on my career as a healthcare clinician. So by trade, I am a physical therapist assistant, and I spent a lot of my time in the home care sector, where I found that a lot of individuals were not just struggling with getting clinical care, because from a clinical standpoint, myself as a therapist, nurses, doctors, we were doing what we were supposed to do. But the things that I heard most and I saw families struggling with was that balance between, how do we get all this done? What does life look like now for me now that I've had this incident? How will I continue to be independent? And that's a struggle for people, especially in that sandwich generation. Those are that's kind of like my niche. People that are still raising their families, juggling their careers, and kind of simultaneously taking care of an aging loved one. That can be very difficult and stressful when you're trying to build a business and raise a family. So anyway, I learned that my clients were struggling with that. And fast forward, I actually was a stay-at-home mom. I had the opportunity of being at home with my kids. I worked in between the hours that they were at school. And I don't care where I lived, and I lived in 5 different states. Everybody had that same issue where they were trying to figure out, how do I get this day-to-day stuff done? How do I get those things off of my never-ending to-do list done without feeling stressed and overwhelmed, right? And most of the times those needs kind of went unmet because there was nobody to do it, or they had challenges getting it done, right? So in 2019, I established my business, and it wasn't an easy feat because I moved back here in 2017 and my mom got sick. So I was actually her caregiver, and I had never been on that side of the table. I'd been a clinician helping my clients get better, but I had never actually been on that side where I was actually helping one of my loved ones, heal from an incident. And it was very challenging because I put it on the back burner to honor my mother and make sure that she was well. My sisters and I did this together. And then in 2019, I just decided, this is my time. I've done everything I was supposed to do. I had dreamt about this business for years, well over 15 years. Oh. And I stepped out and I did it. And I did everything in the background from 2019 up until 2020 when the world got shut down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, shit, what do I do now? Can I say that on your show? What do I do now? So what I did was I put my head down. I enrolled in some business courses to figure out how can I have a sustainable business and how can I make what I feel is valuable to people a need. Like I wanted to make sure that people really needed this. I knew they did, but I wanted to make sure I could be a sustainable business as well. So I did that. I put my head down. I graduated from those courses, and then my mom passed away.
Oh man, sorry to hear that.
And so we're in a pandemic. My mom passes away. My stepfather passed away during COVID. And that was a sense of a blow, like, you know, is this really going to happen for me? Because it was, everybody's going through a struggle in 2020. Well, then I decided that I was going for it. I started networking, and here I am, and business is better than ever.
Wow, that's awesome. So you've not only overcome the hurdles, especially of the 2020,
yes, but
you've pretty much just blossomed out into where you are today.
Absolutely. Even throughout, that loss, I found the strength to kind of come out of that and to really be able to give of myself. I am fortunate enough that I'm not building a business to pay bills. Financially, I'm okay because my husband does very well. But I want to be able to, in this season of my life, I turned 50 in 2020. And I want to be able to provide the things that I know that helped me, that I mastered, being a stay-at-home mom, being away. I didn't have a village to raise my kids. It was just my husband and I and my kids. And I had to figure out how can I set up systems in my life in order for me to have joy and live abundantly without being stressed and overwhelmed. And I just think that the skills that I have, I can help other people.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And with that right there, because you run the business full time now, right?
I do. I do.
Yeah, that to me, that's really impressive to where you can just sit there, you're running it full time, and you no longer have to worry about the support of a regular job.
Yes.
So, yeah, which is really awesome. So
yeah, I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now, what was it like when you came into networking? I don't know if you've done any other networking opportunities before, or this was your very first one.
Well, that's a great question. So during COVID, everybody was online. We were Zooming it, right? And I was trying to figure out how I could network and have a more personal touch, because I think in person is totally different than being behind the screen. And I know a lot of people, they're tired of Zooming, right? We are over Zoom. And I finally just decided that I was going to go get my vaccine, and I was going out there. And I think I was hesitant to network because I did not feel that connection over Zoom. I didn't know how to really communicate and really touch people. I didn't really feel anything through the computer, right? I really wanted people to really understand the value that I had to offer. And I really wanted to just meet great humans. That's what I wanted to do.
Right.
So you know what? I got out of my way, and I am a believer. So I really started charging God with, okay, you said I could have this. You put this seed down inside of me. I'm going to charge you with this. I'm just going to show up, and I don't know what's going to happen. So really, I just really show up in the room, and magic happens.
Yeah.
I've been able to meet some amazing people. I think thus far I started networking in May, and I've probably had 75 plus one-to-ones with some great people.
Holy shit. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that. Because I remember the first time you came in, and I was like, wait, what did she know? And then once you had talked about the concierge stuff, I will say, oh, okay, I kind of grasp it, and then kind of didn't, but now I grasp it even more.
Right. And you have to understand, like, I don't know how your first time was coming into the room of all these amazing business owners and people that are representing businesses. And
Fearful.
when you own your own business, you're everything for your business. You don't want to mess it up. And I think that I was still growing and also healing. And I wasn't quite sure what I should say, I guess I didn't have any clarity, right? I knew exactly how I wanted to serve, but how does that sound when you say it, right? And really, when I got out of my way, and I'm really honest about this, I'm not that magical. He is. And I really charged it to him. And he literally gave me the words to say. So I think every time I decided to show up, he just made my message clearer and clearer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it is none other than God.
Yes.
I must agree with that.
Yes. So networking has been great. And I guess I would call myself an omnivert. I'm not really a introvert or extrovert.
What does omnivert mean?
It's kind of in between. It's like a hybrid of
being
social.
Now I get it.
I really am a extrovert if I know you very well. But if I don't know you, I could be a total introvert. So it's kind of like that hybrid in between. But networking and getting out there has caused me to just be an extrovert.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for it. So it just makes you more and more comfortable about who you are, why you do it, and who you serve. And that's basically what I'm there for. I'm really just there to meet great people, and whatever comes out of it, I'm here for it. I'm just open to it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's really awesome. So I gotta ask too, because you've been around 5 different states. So have I.
Yeah, we have something in common.
Yeah, exactly. What's been your most favorite experience, and then also, what's been your most favorite experience, like, living in different states, as well as, did you get the travel bug?
I did. I travel a lot. I travel a lot, and I've been so grateful to be able to do so. And I'm also grateful that my kids they are not a stranger to traveling. Growing up, I didn't have that experience. So it's taught me to learn how to reinvent myself over and over again. It's taught me how to see how other people live, how other places look. Because when you are in a city that you've always lived in, you just kind of think that this is how it is. And it's not. It just kind of opens up your mind to different things. It opens you up to different opportunities. And really, when my husband and I set out in 2004, we really wanted to provide an extraordinary experience for our children and for ourselves. And we were obedient. We did that, and God just kept showing up every time. He gave me my dream house 4 or 5 times.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
And like you said too, that for someone that has lived in a state, matter of fact, I'm just gonna throw this in there. New York, again, no politics involved.
Mm-hmm.
When you live in the city, because I used to live in Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
and you just know the Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Bronx,
Right,
the 4
right,
boroughs,
right.
and all you know is just city life.
Right.
You don't really know exactly what's outside of it, except for
Right.
maybe when you go to Jersey.
Right.
But when you go like way upstate, let's say, what's that? I'm gonna throw in Albany, Niagara Falls, or one of those places. New York has a massive country area up there, which I never knew.
It's beautiful. It's not about that concrete jungle all the time.
That's right. Yeah. I just thought it was hilarious that, like you said, when you get out there and you just explore, you're like, wait a minute, there's more to life than where you were staying at before.
Yeah, it helps to change your mindset and your way of thinking about the world. It really just really opens you up. So, and I'm quite sure it's different for you to be in Missouri and you are a New York native. I'm quite sure that's a different experience for you, but that's great that you experienced it. And, and you're still here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't see it being the state that I'll like make it my permanent home. I mean, who knows? Minds can change.
Right.
When I go back to the big city and live, and that's any big city, whether New York, LA, etc. No, I like the space of the suburban area and of course having my dream house.
Right, and having more space, because in New York, you guys live a little different than we do, especially in the
Yeah,
city.
everything's tight knit.
Yeah, everything's tight knit. I have a nephew that's there now. He loves it. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's good to know. Now, is he in the city or is he like upstate?
He's in the city. And I know that he's been there multiple times. He is a fashion designer. So he lives in the city, and he literally, like, renting rooms in space can be like renting a room for like $900. Like, I don't even get that.
Right, yeah.
But
That's the drawback.
But I hear the city's amazing. When you love the city, you'll do whatever you have to do to be there, right?
Right, exactly. So, also too, what's family support been like? Because I know your husband has supported you on this journey as well. Your children also support you on this. How have they seen the different change in you?
It's been interesting. For me, I think I was more so in my head about my growth, because growth is not comfortable at all. Sometimes it's painful, and I was so used to my normal of being mom, running my household, not having to juggle things outside of like what I was used to juggling. Like when you're juggling and trying to grow a business, it can be nonstop hours. It can be, burning the midnight oil, failing a lot. And that wasn't what I was used to. I was used to having because I had already figured out how to run my family and busy schedules, getting my kids to practice and things like that. And I had mastered that because I put systems in place. But now I'm here trying to put systems in place to grow a business. Now that's a whole nother story, right?
Yeah.
And so I think in the beginning, for me, I was kind of out of alignment because everything had been about my family, right? And I took care of myself. I found a way to be able to do some self-care for myself, so I wasn't pouring from an empty cup. But then how do I juggle this new thing that I'm doing, right? And I felt out of alignment because I felt like, how can I do this and still honor my family? So it took me a long time. I spent my wheels for a long time because every time I tried something, if it did not include serving my family, it wasn't for me. And I've just realized along the way, if it's going to interfere with my family life, my marriage, raising my children, it's not for me. So I've kind of found a little sweet spot of doing that. My husband is very supportive. My kids are very supportive. They are my number one cheerleaders. And it's funny because like the roles are reversed and they're like, yeah, mama, go, go, go. Woo. So it's nice. My daughter is 20 and she's in college doing her thing, and I'm proud of her. My son is 16 and he's going into his junior year and he's my cheerleader. So it's great. This is my time.
All right.
I'm just now getting started at 50.
Well, there's a saying called, not called, but there's a saying, better late than never.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I had a life before this. This is just different. Being a business owner is a totally different thing. So I'm happy. Like I said, I'm just getting started. So I'm just happy to see what God has in store for me.
Oh, absolutely. And I know he has a lot for you as well, too.
Yeah, I'll take it. It.
So I definitely have to say, because, to your point that you were saying that you had to let go of a lot of things, and one of the things that you implemented, and I don't know if you've heard this before, is called let go and grow.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And that's the one thing that we're not always ready to do, because we think growth is supposed to be comfortable and nice and pretty and shiny, but it's not. It's not. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's getting out of your way. Sometimes it's taking a step back. So yeah, growth is not always comfortable, but you have to be, I think the magic for me was just being open. I didn't have any preconceived notions of what was going to happen. Like I was just open to the possibility.
Yeah. No, that's really good to know. The other question I wanted to ask you too, is that in that growth process that you have, and obviously still growing, how have you overcome failures?
Oh, therapy. And I'm just gonna be honest. Therapy has been wonderful for me. I originally sought therapy for grief because of the loss of my parents and going through that journey. But I also realized that you need coaching and therapy for every part of your life. there are a lot of things that we go through in our lives that may have been arrested because something happened. And I'm not saying I had a terrible childhood, I had a wonderful childhood.
Yeah.
But I think that people can say things, situations can happen, a move can happen, different things that happen in your life along your journey can arrest some of your emotional growth. And you can be stuck in a certain time or frame in your life. You could be 12, you could be 15. And I think that we need to always get help to clear all those things up, because I think with the whole entrepreneurial journey, if you're stuck, if you're indecision, if you don't know how to move, or for example, probably the first time you met me and my message wasn't clear, that was probably my little girl showing up. Not really clear about, oh, is this going to be good enough? Are they going to talk about me? How is this pitch going to sound? Oh my God, they sound better than me. And those things you have to make sure that you are getting help with in order for you to show up as the best person that you can be. So anyway, therapy is my answer.
Okay, yeah, no, that it's really great to know. And then also too, I definitely gotta ask this because I just thought of it. So as you were moving, and I know you've had your children while you're moving to the different states, and the reason I ask this because this will also go for any other entrepreneurs that's out there that also have children as well too. So how have they felt that, they move from one state to another, maybe leaving behind some of their friends? How they've adapted to that?
You know what? My husband and I get that question all the time, and it used to irritate me because I was like, why does that matter? And I didn't realize where people were coming from, but that saying that you don't know what you don't know, right?
Oh yeah.
So if people haven't experienced it, sometimes they will ask insensitive questions because they don't know. They've never experienced it, right? So my husband and I have to put our blockers on, and this is the life that we desire for ourselves, and our kids are just a part of that journey with us. They're a part of that journey. We didn't know how things were going to work out, but what we did know is that that's what we asked God for, and he is a God of provision, and he has never failed me. So my kids have done very well. They have gone to some of the best schools in the cities that we've lived in. Awesome. My daughter has always been an A student. My son has always been an A student. He's had a guide to show him what things should look like and how to show up as. He's been lucky to have a sister to kind of guide him. My daughter actually went to the University of Tulsa on an academic scholarship. She was an athlete but decided that she didn't want to play ball in college, and she has managed the women's basketball team for the 3rd year. She is an RA for the 2nd year. She is a political science major, minoring in Spanish. She is very fluent in Spanish. And she also, I'm so proud of her, and I'm glad I'm on here to tell it, she is finishing her undergrad in 3 years. She's lived all over the place. She has friends everywhere. They can go anywhere and they'll meet somebody that they've met or they've gone to school with or been friends with in different cities that they've lived in. But she actually did an intern this summer with my husband's company, and she is a 20-year-old that has been offered a job, and she starts in July of 2022. She does not have to go out and seek a job. She showed up. She killed it on her intern. Awesome. She's doing great. My son is doing excellent as well. He started 2 jobs this summer. He worked at a recreational center where he helps assist, and you know how when you go to basketball games and he manages the door, and he works at Norwood Country Club, and he's loving it. And they are just very adaptable. They've never had a problem fitting in with any kids, or sometimes some of the kids are like, we thought you guys have been here since we've been in kindergarten. And that's just how well they fit in. My husband and I were very intentional about making sure that they were in sports and they got acclimated to the area before we moved there. So it was never a time where they felt out of place. And that's that. So they're doing good. They're great humans. They're very flexible. They love to travel. They're not afraid to engage with people and meet new people. It's never been a problem for them.
Yeah, that's really great to know. So they've adapted really well, it sounds like.
They have, and considering they came from 2 parents that didn't do that, we just tried to make sure we were intentional about sharing great things with them and kind of setting it up where it looked like it was their normal. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So last question I gotta ask is that where does somebody go to follow you, as well as maybe get in contact with you in case they might need, the concierge services that you provide?
Absolutely. Anybody that's looking to decrease stress and overwhelm in their life, whether it's in business or if it's in your personal life, if you're kind of juggling all the things, the people that I really want to serve are women, because we don't allow ourselves to get help. We think that everything is for us. We've been taught that everything is for us to do, and it's not. It's a lie. You can outsource things. And if it doesn't bring you joy or happiness, why are you doing it? Like, honestly, why are you doing it? Or if you don't have the time, if it's causing you to be pulled in all these different directions and you can't show up as your authentic self and joyful, outsource it. So you can find me, Melissa Lewis, at the Majestic Group, www.themajesticgroupllc.com. You can find me on Facebook at the Majestic Group LLC, and you can also find me on LinkedIn at Melissa R. Lewis, and I think I'm on IG too at the Majestic Group LLC.
Oh, right. Awesome. Mm-hmm. So you're all over the platforms.
I'm all over the place. Yeah. I'm all over the place. You can find me.
All right. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That's the way to be.
Yes, and I also do some things from a virtual standpoint, so I can organize from a virtual standpoint.
How do you do that?
Well, you have to be a participant, and I have organized a lot of spaces from virtual standpoint, so it's worked.
So it's like you're walking, or I should say they're walking, and then you're telling them where to put something.
So they have me on camera. I actually do a survey of the room. I look at the things that they have. I ask them about their pain points, what's causing them to be, their area to be cluttered, how do they operate and how do they function in their space. And then we put together something, and then I teach them how to organize their space. And we put it together, and sometimes it's a beautiful thing.
Wow. Yeah, I like that. That's what you call not just adapting, but bit of revolutionary too.
Absolutely. Well, we had to be revolutionary during the pandemic. A lot of great things happened.
That's right. So yeah, and with that, thank you for being on Visiblepreneur.
Thank you for the opportunity. I enjoy being here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And of course, for you listeners out there, don't forget, we are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and then of course our audio only. We're on Anchor, which goes out to Breaker, Apple and Google Podcasts, what's that other one? Apple, Google Podcasts. Crap. Now I forgot the name. Yeah. Breakers on there. And then also Pocket Cast. So thank you, Canada listeners, for taking a listen. Hey, if any one of you out there listen to this episode, like what you hear, and want to be a guest on there, as well as get in contact with any of the people that we have, don't forget to shoot an email to visiblepreneur@gmail.com. And with that being said, y'all take care, and then we'll see you on the next one.